From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Wakers, pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance, it was resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. Performed the Venus nightly, never free from the deck. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in the sky. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage. Can reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan, now there's crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tent that the boys prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined where was next. Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the largest to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, this is, and you are Under the Groove. This is Under the Groove podcast, and we are touching bases with the people. Let's get to this get out, man. We know what's going on in the world, right? We know what's going on in the world, man. These people are enacting war, man. They're waging war on people of color, to say the least. But we know as a result of how they get down, we'll end up in some form or fashion paying for this, for this war, man. In one way or another, we're going to pay for this war, man. Be that financially, be it socially, man. Be it in terms of black bodies going to the front lines, of these wars that, those people orchestrated or, started, while at the same time, man, they will not suffer, man, the same consequences. You know what I mean? So in other words, their family members aren't going. Baron Trump will not go to war if it gets as bad as what people are suspecting this war will be or become. In fact, none of these billionaires who run the world, these corporations who want the war to happen, so-called Israelis that are here, these people are not going to be involved in that. They always finding out. There's always a loophole for them. We are always left fighting their wars, and for black people, man, we've been doing this shit for a long time. From the Revolutionary War to right now, you know what I mean? We have always been the ones, not just on the front lines, but the ones who have made it possible for them to claim victory in any war they've been in. Any war. And if somebody in here don't believe that, man, go to the comments, man, and let me know that, man. Let me know that you do not agree with, for every war that this country has been in or waged against someone else, blacks were the reason, the main cause of them being victorious, man. Facts, all right? This is Under the Groove podcast. Listen, man, like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe to this podcast. You know what I'm saying? We need you guys' support. All right. Now, typically, when we come on in this get down, man, we come in this get down and we touch bases with our folks, man. They're changing it a bit. Okay, something happened. I said I dropped something in there and they gonna shit. This is my podcast. And they told me I couldn't put it in. YouTube rejected my comment. Let's get down with the Get Down RTD. It's time to touch bases with the people. Why would they? All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's neither here nor there. Listen, man. So America and Israel waged war on Iran, right? And so far, day four, it has not panned out like they thought it would. So it went from, oh, we, they'll bow down, they'll this, they'll that, to, oh, this is going to take some time, to we may have to put boots on the ground. What does that mean for us, man? What does that mean for black folk here in this country, man, who still ain't got their issue? We haven't got our issue, but they're always calling on us. Come bail them out some bull crap, right? Not only that, man, and I'm talking about just bodies filling the ranks, these platoons and these units and shit to go and fight somebody who ain't done nothing to us, right? But what does it cost financially? What does it cost economically as we sit and watch this stuff take place before our eyes, man? How's that going to affect us, man, when it comes to we needing gas or gasoline for our vehicles, man? Groceries, insurance, utilities, all these things, man, will be affected by this war that the United States and Israel has started with Iran. Who's going to suffer the most? Who's going to suffer the most? Who always does, that's the question, man. I'm asking the RGC, man, anybody willing to come in. Let's talk about what is taking place in the world and how this war will affect or could very well possibly affect black people more than anybody else, man. There's no getting around that. There's no getting around that. Trust that, man. Trust that. All right, Lorraine Sense. She said, groovy like a movie. Good to see you up in here. I hope you recognize, salute right back to you, sister, that, we took your advice and we got this new thing going over there, man. And it is called The Art of Political Discourse. All right, please like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe to that. It was your suggestion. I'm hoping like heck you submit, you subscribed. All right. But that being said, man, for real, we in a situation, man. These people that went over there, of all people, and messed with the Iranians. Out of all people over there, man, they went and messed with the ones they should have least effed with, Last year in June, man, it was as though they didn't get it. They told all these lies. Oh, man, we obliterated their nuclear capabilities or, whatever, right? Come to find out they really did it, and this is part of the excuse why they going back in there. Oh, we want to make sure that, they have no nuclear capabilities or, they're not enriching uranium, whatever the case may be, to, we're going in there because they got ballistic missiles that can touch some of anybody in that region, to, you know what, we want to do regime change, and that's going to change as well. Pretty sure of that. But listen, man, we are going to be in a situation because of these people that ain't got nothing to do with us. That don't have nothing to do with us. And I'm hoping like hell, black folk, man, treat this issue, this situation the same way they did with the immigration issue or any other issue. They ain't got nothing to do with us, man. That has nothing to do with us, But again, man, for real, we're going to be the ones on the low end, of the wrong. We're going to get the shit end of the stick, so to speak, because of this war, man. We're going to see it, like I said, in our gas prices, our grocery prices, our bills, our insurance, all that. All that, man, is going to go up as a result of this. And as a matter of fact, we will be the ones who will suffer the most. Now, I'm bringing this up because I think this is relevant. I think that, man, looking at what's going on in the world, man, and looking at not just what's going on in the world, man, but looking at where we are in terms of our situation, our status in the world, in the United States. Let's be more specific. We're not doing good, man. We're not doing good. That shit is going to affect us, And again, man, just, consider that if it actually gets really, they already say World War III has begun. But if it gets to the point where they're going to need bodies, man, all these young brothers in these streets, man, they will be in for a rude awakening, because I could see that occurring. I could see this U.S. government coming, into these inner cities, so to speak, these communities, and grabbing up all these people they're gonna think are worthless or have little value to go and fight their war, man. Initiate these young brothers, man, in a situation, man, they ain't got nothing to do with them, man. And it's crazy because no matter what we try to impart to our brothers and sisters, man, who are younger, it doesn't stick. It doesn't hold. They don't understand or comprehend that, we're trying to tell them, this is the way to go. This is the best thing for you because we've been through this shit, I hate to see a situation, man, where this thing escalates. Like everyone is saying, the analysts, the pundits are saying this thing is going to be, this is the one, so I hate to see it evolve or escalate to that point where they come into our communities and start grabbing up our brothers and sisters, talking about y'all got to go to war for us. Same people, snatching the same people out these communities that they won't fund, that they're taking social services from, all that. Well, turn around and say, y'all got to go fight for us. Man, I hope like heck that don't happen. Damn hope. May that not happen. May the ancestors look down upon these brothers and sisters, man, and protect them and keep them from that. But again, man, let's just put it in atmosphere, man, and it don't come to that. That our young brothers and sisters, man, will not get drugged in to that situation, because again, at this point, man, we're nothing but fodder. They don't look at us as human beings or anyone, that has any value, So that's the thing, man. We have to be prepared, man, because I'm telling y'all, man, this stuff, and again, people, this is what we be talking about. This is what we be talking about when we talk about brothers and sisters getting it together. Be one equaling black first, man. This is why we say what we say. Were we a year into this, right? And we're starting to gain some traction, then we'd have a voice and we'd be able to go out in public and let it be known. Now, hey, whatever y'all doing, that's on y'all. Don't come calling. You know what I mean? But we're not at that stage. And they see this. And for all we know, man, as far as Donald Trump goes, and while this stuff is happening, man, he's trying to keep himself out of the limelight, man. This dude is a foul individual. All right, he's a pedophile. He's a sexual assaulter of children, man, young girls, right? He's trying to find any means, by any means, anyway, necessary to keep himself out the limelight. So you guys don't think that he will, which is what he did, commit this country to a war that makes no sense. And not only that, but then he'll start announcing draft-like policies, and say, hey, well, this community, we're going to come and, we need you to register, da-da-da. Hey, man, he will do that. And he will only be able to get away with that, or even to think, he will only begin to think that he could do that based upon how he sees us as a community. We have no value, man. We have no value, and that's scary. That's scary. That's just another way, a quicker way for them and the Zionist regime of Israel to get rid of what they consider to be a threat to them in the future, our young brothers and sisters. That look, man, y'all got to look at shit the way it needs to be observed, man, the way it needs to be looked at and analyzed. They will do these types of things, to get rid of a threat. The coldest part about it ain't none of our young brothers and sisters in the streets committing crimes on them the way they do each other. You know what I mean? And yet, still, we are a threat. And they got to find a way to get rid of, to thin the herd. To thin the herd. For all we know, man, this is a backroom think tank get down that we see happening. And it's going on for the purpose of, okay, killing two birds with one stone. Let's clear Donald Trump. Let's get him out the limelight. And by the way, let's get rid of some of these ninjas. I don't know, man. That's the way my mind thinks sometimes, man. And again, man, anytime people say, "Oh, you conspiracy theorists," yeah, man, don't criticize it, don't knock it, don't laugh at it, man, but think about it. Give it some thought. All right. That being said, man, I want to get in these comments, but we're not going to go too deep, man, because I want to stick to the point of what we are facing as a people. And again, man, even if, hypothetically speaking, this thing does not get out of control, by all accounts, it is. Europe is getting involved now. China and Russia will be involved soon enough. All right. So this thing is going to escalate, right? It's going to expand. But just if, hypothetically speaking, this does not happen, we have to still reach our brothers and sisters, man. We got to help them get it together, man. We got to start talking to them, even when they don't want to be talked to. That's just the reality, man. Because if we don't, man, these people are going to come and snatch our brothers and sisters up, man, and do what they will with them. A lot of these brothers and sisters, man, again, I don't think a lot of them are ignorant. I think a lot of them are super intelligent. It's just that a lot of them do ignorant things, you know what I mean? But they are in a situation where they do not see how they're being viewed by the powers that be. And I'm telling you, this is dangerous, man, for our race. It's dangerous for our people, So what is it we to do? How do we prepare for what's coming down the pipes? And let's say again that it doesn't get to the point where it's all out war throughout the world, right? Still, how do we prepare, or how do we get ours together in a respect or a sense that, man, even if that don't happen, we straight. We have what we need. We're doing what we must. We're trying to empower one another, and we're trying to evolve. You know what I mean? How do we get to that, man? I'm telling y'all, this shit is something that we need to really start discussing, especially with our young ones, man, our grandbabies, man, all of them, nieces, nephews, cousins, little brothers and sisters, to make them aware how the world sees them and how the world would use them up, exploit them, and all that other stuff. That's the conversation, man, that we would like to have, or I would like to initiate on Touching Bases with the People tonight. All right. Right quick, I'm going to touch on some of these comments. And then, like I said, man, let's address this. Let's address this, man, because again, that shit is getting out of hand over there, y'all. They are shocked that them Iranians got the wherewithal, the moxie, the oomph to put it to them like that. And I'm telling you, they don't like it. So that means they are about to become more drastic in how they're dealing with the Iranians in this war. And that's what's going to lead to other people getting involved in this shit spiraling out of control. All right. I was asked a question about the wars of this country since its inception, in terms of the number of blacks, the percentages of blacks being involved in the wars of this country, from the Revolutionary War to their very last war. This one right now, we it ain't in the books yet, but let's say all the way up to Desert Storm in Afghanistan, the Afghan War and all that, man. How many blacks participated in this, in these wars? Not only that, man, but ain't no percentage, man. How did they treat blacks, as a result of? Have the treatment of blacks been any different, And again, man, if it weren't for the black race, the black man and woman employed as soldiers in, this the U.S. military, they wouldn't have victories. They just wouldn't. Ain't no telling who would have been running this country by, if it weren't for, our effort, our contribution to their victory. And they call it theirs. Very rarely do they give recognition to the fact that our people are the ones who helped turn the tides in all their wars, So we're talking about war, man, and how it will affect us, not just on the battlefield, but in society while we're here at home, man. The economics of it, how will we suffer? What are we about to go through? as a result of this shit, man. You know, starting from the Revolutionary War, man. I can't actually I can't say how many or what what's the number of Africans or Black Americans involved in the first war, the Revolutionary War of the United States. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm willing to wager though that number could have been 10,000 or 5 to 10,000. Let's put it like that. You know, that's the first war that this country was involved in. You know what I mean? Great Britain didn't like the fact that they wouldn't pay taxes to, the British Empire. And as a result, they rose up. There was a revolution. All right. But as a result, we know that one of the first persons to die in the Revolutionary War was Crispus Attucks. The first. He was a Black man, So ain't no telling. There is no telling, as far as I know, because, I haven't researched it that deep, how many of our brothers and sisters was or were involved in the first war in this country, the Revolutionary War. I don't know. But I do know after that, the Civil War is another one. I wonder, man. I wonder how many Blacks were involved in the Civil War. And that's the one that really should matter. Well, that one in all the way up to Vietnam, you know what I mean? And they matter, or they should matter, because they will come get us to fight their wars, but then when we come home, they would continue to treat us the way they were before the war started. You know what I mean? Nothing changed, So how many Blacks fought in the Civil War in the United States? 50,000? What? I don't know. 100,000? 200,000? I would imagine it's anywhere from 200,000 to, let's say, 150,000. You know what I mean? And yet, how they were treated after the fact, just shameful, man. It was just shameful. We still suffered as a people in this country. We got no leeway. We got nothing. You know what I mean? Anything that we got, man, we had to get. We had to, work for it, earn it, take it. But they quick to come get us for their wars. So I say anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000, man. And that's for the Civil War. And we talk about all the other wars in between, but I'm gonna skip them Mexican-American wars and all that shit. We ain't gonna need to address that. But World War I, man, how many Black Americans went and fought for them in World War I? 380,000. 380,000 go and fight for this country, or whatever its interest was, or national security were or was. You know what I mean? They went and fought. Those who survived came back, and guess what? Same old, same old. Nothing changed. But you went and shed your blood, man. You put your life, you sacrificed yourself for this country and got nothing from it as a result. Nothing. In fact, man, when most of them brothers came back, man, they had ambitions. They were motivated, man, to do greater things and to elevate, to excel. They felt empowered. You know what I mean? Got back here, and guess what? Start lynching them and shooting them, destroying anything they built. And this is after World War I, man. That was their repayment. That was their repayment. That was their payment for going to help them fight a European war, a war between white people. World War II. 1 million brothers and sisters, man, went and fought for this country in World War II. Guess what? After that, helped them win the war too. Came home, man. Guess what happened? Same shit as that occurred or took place after World War I. Same treatment, same disregard, same hatred, same bigotry, racism. Nothing changed. In fact, it was worse for them. It was worse for them. All them brothers, man, putting their lives on the line again and sacrificing everything they were, man, for this country to be treated the way they were after the fact. You have the Tuskegee Airmen. You have the 300 and I think it was the 51st Division. It was one of the best division in Europe, man. When the Nazis seen them coming, they ran. This how bad and ferocious, how vicious these brothers were, man. You know, this how bad they were. Man, they saved France. You know, come on, man. To go through all that, then come home and have to deal with this stuff all over again. It's worse than a slap in the face. You know, a lot of them felt like, hey, man, just come on, man, just kill me then. Just kill me then. But then you also had those who came back and saying, man, nah. They formulated, man, black militias, man. See, they don't tell these stories, man, about these brothers going to war for them, man, coming home and being treated the same way they were before they went to war, man. But they don't tell how some of them brothers left, came back, and said, nah, no more. Matter of fact, man, we gonna hunt y'all. And that's what a lot of them did. That's not in the history books. They don't tell that. You know, they do not speak of that. You know, just for like some clarity, man, a preference, as a reference, the movie that just the brother Michael B. Jordan just won all the awards in. That Get Down is an example of how some of them brothers got down when they got back. They put in work. They left putting in work in Europe, came back here, put in work. They had them sheets in the wind, man. They was running. Riddled with holes, man. You know, that was a get down. But you know what's sad is that, again, they went to war for this country, man, and came back to the same crap. Same crap, man. You know, and I go back, man, the Revolutionary War, man. Them brothers fought for them, man. And right after, these suckers start enacting slavery as a policy. You know, they started slavery. Imagine that, man. Imagine that. All right. Those are three main wars of this country, man. And every one of them wars, brothers stood up, sacrificed, man, blood, man, you know, life and limb and life for this country to be treated the way we've been treated, you know? That's some shameful shit, man. You know? So after World War II, they had the Korean War. 600,000 brothers and sisters. 600,000. This is right after World War II, excuse me. 600,000 more brothers and sisters went and fought for these people, man. And guess what? After that war was said and done, came back home, nothing changed. Nothing changed. Not a dang thing changed, man. We're still treated the same way. You know? We're segregated, man. Jim Crow laws, these were military veterans. Went and fought for this country, couldn't even get a loan for a home. Banks wouldn't help them. The government sure didn't help them. The government, in fact, was the ones who started that process that made the banks not give brothers loans for homes. All right? Not just World War II. In fact, the GI Bill in World War II or after World War II didn't even cover brothers. Blacks, it did not pertain to them. Korean War, boom, same shit. Same shit, same treatment, man. And if it were not for black men and women, man, fighting in those wars, these people would not be able to say that they were victorious. But they leave all that out for the most part. Then what we had, or what they had, the Vietnam War, all right? 340,000. 340,000. This war started in the 60s, early 60s, ended in 74, 75. Guess what? Black people, men and women, even those veterans who had fought in that war, who were veterans, were still being treated like shit. No respect, man. None. Come back from a war that they started, helping them to win a war, to be treated the way they were treated before they went to the war. Nothing had changed. Not a dang thing had changed, man. Then you had Desert Storm. 25% of the soldiers in that war were black. I didn't take the time to go and look up what was the number, the total number of soldiers that was in that war, Desert Storm, and or Afghan, and the Iraqi war, as well as the Afghanistan war. But 25%, man, to go and fight, to come back, man, and then have to fight just to be treated like a human being, man. Sad stuff. So I'm saying all that to say this, man. Whatever happens in this situation right now, whether it explodes or not, we ain't got no business, man, helping nobody. They've made it abundantly clear this is not our country. They run the government, they run most everything, so they can say that, right? We know better. But for that matter, because they getting at us like that, or this is how they act, this is how they carry on. They are bigots. And some of y'all got it wrong about these Democrats. They are a bigger bigot than the Republican. But they have them, man, and they still think the way they think about us. Go and get them, fight our wars. They ain't nothing but fodder. They'll help us win, though, but, go get them. No matter what happens, man, we have to start standing up, man, and speaking to what is real in this life. We ain't got no business, man, helping nobody, especially if we ain't started some crap, man. You know what I mean? But on top of that, we have no business helping nobody that even respects us. If they don't respect us, hey, man, hey, I do the Muhammad Ali on their ass. Well, hey, man, do what you want to do, cracker, but I'm not going to fight for you. You got enough sales? You got enough sales for all of us? Okay. Come on, man. Let them handle their business while we handle ours, But again, I'm telling you guys, man, if this thing jumps off the way they saying, we are going to get the short end of the stick. We always do. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed to the point where we can expect better from them. Not a damn thing has changed, man. So we would be remiss. We would be at fault. We would be the idiots to help these people accomplish anything, especially anything on the battlefield. The Iranians ain't did nothing to us. No more than the Iraqis did anything to us. No more than the Vietnamese had done anything to us, or the Koreans had done anything to us. Even the damn Nazis hadn't done anything to us. In fact, if you go and research, that get out, they were trying to tell people from the jump, y'all ain't the real ones. We know who the real ones are, and y'all don't look like them. The color's wrong. Now, World War I, whatever that was with Kaiser and all them, the Germans, and that they had nothing to do with us. The Civil War, that should have been the only war we fought in. Well, with exception maybe to the American Revolutionary War, because again, at that time, they wasn't pushing slavery like that. You know what I mean? So I think it would be, it's okay to think in terms of, okay, they were a part of something, before, it was all said and done and they realized they weren't, But those are the only two wars. The only two wars that we as a people should have supported them or went and fought for or fought in. Everything after that, man, hey, man, to hell with y'all, man. To hell with y'all. Again, we're going to get the short end of the stick. Since COVID, man, shit has been rough. A lot of us, though, we just find ways to keep going. That's something that can be said about us, man. We just keep on keeping on. We make the best of a bad situation, you know, but that don't make it all right. It just don't, man. All right, now I can talk all night about this, man, because I'm telling you, it's in my soul, man, in terms of what I see going on. And listen, man, we better not fall to that. We better not be bamboozled again. Not just brothers and sisters in California, but all over this so-called great country, man. Nah. Y'all done took social services from our people who needed that stuff, man. We have elderly, man, brothers and sisters who need SNAP, you know, and all that other stuff, all those other social services who need health care and all that, man. Man, we got to stop being foolish. We have to stop being foolish, man, and we have to start standing up. We have to start seeing shit for what it really is, man. And the fact of the matter is, man, I don't give a dang about none of us. It's high time we stop giving a dang about any of them, man. We need to start focusing on us. Be one, man. Black first. That's it. That's all, man. And be about that unapologetically, man. We not they, man. To hell how you see that or how you feel about it. We know we finna suffer at the gas pump, at the grocery store, man, when it comes to our utilities, or when it comes to our mortgage, our rent, our insurance, all that shit, man. Nah, to hell with them. We got to say it. We got to mean it, though. All right, let me jump in here right quick, y'all. Queen Nzinga said, man, the red, the black, and the green. We have to support our own. There it is. There it is. All right. Rick Black said, Farrakhan said, white wars want black bodies. Facts. Again, man, we're going to serve two purposes to them when it comes to war, man. One, we're fodder. We're black bodies. And two, it's their hope that we fight so well, we win the war for them. It's a twofer, man. They get 2 for 1. Now, again, keep it in mind, man. So that happens. We go through that. We come back. What's changed? How y'all going to compensate us for this? You're going to take more social programs from me? You know, you're going to, you know, cut the budget to, you know, the GI Bill. You know, as a veteran, I've just fought for y'all against Iran. What I'm getting, y'all ain't getting nothing. You know, you're not going to make sure that the VA, man, is well taken care of, that it has the money to look out for brothers and sisters who come back missing limbs, suffering from PTSD, you know? Come on, man. How does this pan out for us? We're not thinking, man. We got to start thinking, man, and we got to start thinking for us. I don't care about nobody else, man. And I don't mean that in such a malicious way. I don't mean it like that. But I'm saying, man, again, unapologetically, man, I don't care, man. If it's not my people, man, I don't care because I recognize that my people are suffering. It's 2026, y'all. These bastards still starting wars, man. And they're going to come and look in our communities, man, for bodies. Use your imagination, man. This shit real. Queen Nzinga said, man, they ain't changed nothing. They owe us. And they owe us their very existence. This country would not be here if it weren't for us, y'all. And that would include the wars, not just the, you know, the innovations, the inventions, you know what I mean, what we brought to this country, you know, and the world, you know. Come on, wouldn't be nothing without us, man. We got to start realizing this stuff, man. We got to start realizing it. Soldier Janice, she said, greetings, family. I pray that all is well with each and every one of you. And we send that right back to you, sister. Right back to you. All right. The sisters are in here tonight. Beautiful. And that's another thing, man. And I hope we can have this conversation, man, about our sisters, our queens, our queen mothers, our goddesses, man. Their contribution. Damn to, you know, society and the white man, their contribution to us, man, what they've sacrificed for us. That's a conversation that's long overdue on this channel. You know, that's a conversation that we need to have, and maybe we'll have that one tomorrow night, you know. They don't get their flowers, man, from us. We don't give them flowers, man. We treat them like they on Figueroa, and that ain't right, you know. But yeah, we got some strong sisters, some strong queen mothers up in this get down. So, hey, peace and blessings to all y'all, man. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. James said, man, salute, Bub. Excellent topic. I was thinking about this recently for the last couple of years, to be honest. But I wanted your opinion on a fact of our history that been bothering me forever. During the years of World War II, we had over 1 million of our brothers fight for this so-called free and sovereign land known as America. Yet not one was given not only medals, but any recognition. And the cold thing about that is that those who finally received them, they received them when Bill Clinton was president, George Bush, and Barack Obama. You know what I mean? In fact, Donald Trump, I think maybe 2 months ago, no more than 3, had just, pinned the brother, with a Purple Heart. And the brother, you could tell he didn't give a dang about this shit, man, but yeah, they don't, our people do not get the recognition they deserve, man, for the service they've given to this country, man. No recognition whatsoever. James said, man, it was only until about 97 under the Clinton administration, there you go, that 7 brothers who fought hard like the other million of our people, and only 7 of them were giving medals. But what about the rest? Yeah, man, they not gonna, because that those 7 were going to history books, you know what I mean? So so to think that they would say, well, 10,000 of them, come on, let's give them medals, man. They meant shit. They like, hell no. Because that would say too much. That would say too much in the history books, man. 100 years, 200 years from now, people will be wondering about them black people. We can't put that in there. We can't give them that kind of recognition. So for the 7 that they gave them medals to, imagine how many of them they gave medals to. You know what I mean? Man, maybe 10 times that, But yeah, man, this is what it is. This is what it is, man. James said, man, this thing about to come to an inevitable revolution in one way or another. And it sure as hell don't look like it'll be for us if we don't work together to defend against it. Black fists up high on mine. Here, here. Here, here. So anybody, tell me, man, how, when you go to the gas pump, what are you paying per gallon, right? How do you think that's going to affect your budget, your purse strings, your wallet, your paycheck, your bills when gas goes up to $6? 7 maybe. There's a place in downtown LA. Gas is already $7 over there. I BS you not. I BS you not. So how do you think you'd be affected, man, based upon what we know is going on in the Middle East? And to boot, so the number 1 refinery, the number 1 producer of oil and gasoline, Saudi Arabia, their company, Amoco, was struck by drones, right? Boom. It's out of commission right now. That's going to affect us, man, immediately. The Strait of Hormuz is shut down. Nothing can go in and out. And that's where most of the world's oil and gasoline comes from. That strait, that body of water. How you think that's going to affect us? Adversely, for sure. For sure. But in terms of Amoco or Saudi Arabia's main refinery, oil refinery being bombed or attacked, come to find out, or the word is, allegedly, guess who did it? It wasn't the Iranians. So here we are, or here it is, another false flag by them people. This is how they get down. They need things to go the way they're going for their sake, not ours. They don't care about us, you know, man, getting caught, you know, in this rapture, man, you know. But yeah, so they over there bombing, you know, so-called American allies oil refineries. You know, they're doing something that's going to affect the world. It's going to affect the world, man. You know, Dow Jones is down. I'd seen yesterday the price of oil, the price of a barrel of oil went up expeditiously, man. Just boom. Come on, man. How is that going to affect us? Now we got to pay more for gas, you know, or if some of us start thinking in terms of being conservative, we got to get on what they call these things, man, the trains and, you know, the orange line buses. Now you got to deal with all this, all these people and their issues, you know, from the frying pan to the fire, man. But I wager that this thing is going to affect us, man, in ways that right now we you know, we're not even, you know, tapping into or touching on. Again, our groceries are going to go up. Well, they never went down, you know, a few cents here and there. But shit, that shit's about to get worse. It's going to get worse. Insurance is going to go up. It's going to go up. You know, our bills, our energy costs, whether using gas or propane, electric, it don't matter. We're going to suffer, man, as a result of this BS going on, man. And not a good look. It's not a good look. Queen and Zinga say, man, good evening, kings and queens in the Royal Group congregation. I trust today has been a good day. Be one, my peeps, all day, every day. Lorraine says, say, hey, queen. James say, man, hey, that's right, bub. Cool sweater, big cuzzo. Looking like a general. Got that lead in the command, energy, radiating off you, homie. Real talk. We got to stay ready and hold each other down through these times. That's another thing, man. We got to, again, let's not want what's transpiring to get out of hand. Let's not want that, man, because again, regardless, we're going to suffer more than anybody else. So we don't want that for ourselves, right? But hey, man, let's be 100 about some stuff, man. We kind of messed up, man. We ain't got ours together, bro. You know, we have to, this should not be the catalyst or that which makes us finally decide once it really start happening to get it together. You know what I mean? We've been wasting a whole lot of time. Now some shit then creeped up on us, y'all. I mean, there's no other way to put that. You know, cause who would have thought, other than myself, a month ago, that there'd be war right now? All right, here it is. Are we ready? Are we prepared? You know, are we better for it? You know what I mean? How does this shit serve us? It don't. It just don't, man. It just don't. All right. Yeah, man. All right. Queen and Zinga says something about US. Okay, we are already at a disadvantage as it is. This shit is just going to put us down even further in deficit. And again, man, you know, for any of us that have savings, you know, that is mindful of putting away, you know, money, man, for a rainy day. Back in the day, they said a nest egg, you know, have a nest egg or even a rainy day. But a nest egg was something I heard a lot as a kid. Even those of us who may have nest eggs, man, you know, if things go bad, man, that it's going to be depleted real quick. Because everybody, for instance, in the family may not have a nest egg. You know what I mean? Those you love, care for, may be in need. We may find them in need. Then what? You know, so we're in a bad position no matter how you look at it. You know. And again, man, let's put in the atmosphere, man, that shit don't get out of hand. You know, and we want to put that in the atmosphere for the simple fact that, man, then we're given We've been blessed, man, you know, by the answering our ancestors. They're answering our prayers, man, our thoughts, whatever we put out there in the atmosphere, you know, time to get it together. You know, you know, I was saying this shit 6 months ago, man. When brothers and sisters want to do, you know, $5 here, $10 here for the channel. No, man, put that shit away. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. Anyway, so this war, man, America's dead wrong. And you know, again, not just they're dead wrong, but they're dead wrong for following or allowing themselves to be told what to do by the Zionist state of Israel, man. You know, and again, man, there's no telling what they got on Trump, man, because I'm telling you, it got to be some powerful stuff. You know, it ain't just the Epstein files that they have. Y'all got to understand that Jeffrey Epstein was their boy. So anything and everything he got on anybody, they already got it. They already got it, man. So this is probably why we see this shit going on, man, because he has no choice. He has no choice. But we suffer as a result of his behavior, man. That's what it boils down to. You know, his behavior. Anyway, man. Shit. All right, B60, I see you, bro. Say greetings and salutations to you, bub, and the RHCB1. All right, but we're gonna go with the RGC, the Royal Group Congregation, bro. Hey, good to see you up in here, loved one. Rakufu, man. You say, bub, they say when these wars start, okay, I read that one. Blacks are always on the front line suffering. Do you doubt that? Do you doubt that? Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. B6 said, man, if things were tight before this started, just wait. That's the point we're trying to make. This is what we want to get across to the people, man. This war is going to affect us in the worst way. In the worst way. You know? You know, and I honestly, man, I don't worry, but it's on my mind. It's on my mind, man. In terms of what we may go through as a result of this BS, man. It's on my mind, you know. Rakufu said, man, you got to go fast. Well, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's an American proverb and an African proverb. Thank you for that, Rakufu. Real spit. And he said, we are in the midst of World War III. It has begun, homie. It has begun. Oh, another thing I caught, and this I know is going to get bad, man. So there are claims that America has lost over 600 servicemen already. Those are claims, you know, they haven't been verified or whatever. And these claims are coming from those in the Middle East, Iran, and a couple of more groups over there that monitor or say they monitor, you know, war and war casualties. But here's the trip. That's being said, over 650 to be exact, U.S. casualties. CENTCOM, nor the Department of Defense, which is CENTCOM, or you know, the U.S. government has denied it. They have not denied nor confirmed it. At least I haven't ran into a feed that said it, and I've been on this thing all day looking for it. So there could be some validity to that. You know, it could be valid. That statement that claim could very well be true. And if that is the case, listen, it's gonna get worse. We in the midst of it. Man, it's gonna really crack in, you know. And I just hope we ready, man, because this is all bad. All right, Lisa Moore said, Grand Rising, big bro, blessings you and the family. Peace and love to the kings and queens in the chat. B1 is black first, you guys. Black first. All right, I see you, Joe Farrell. Say blacks have fought in all American wars, no doubt. from the first, the American Revolution, to this one now. You know, brothers and sisters are in uniform over there under the gun. You know, could very well be sacrificing life and limb, man, for some bull crap. It ain't got nothing to do with our people, nothing to do with them, nothing to do with their people, nothing. I just like to know what American interests, what national security are you guys saying that you doing this shit for that serves me and mine, you know? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, you know? Shit, get the hell out of here. Lorraine Sense says 5,000 to 8,000 blacks fought in the Revolutionary War. Thank you for that. 180,000 to 200,000 in the Civil War. Thank you again for that. My numbers were almost on point. Queen and Zinga, she jumps in and says about 5,000 to 8,000, same thing that Lorraine Sense said in terms of the Continental Army, State Militia, the Revolutionary American War, the American Revolutionary War. You also going to say, Queen, a significantly large number, estimated between 15 and 20,000, joined the British side to gain freedom. That's new to me. Now that's smart. That's smart. That could be something we can consider. Say Iran keep kicking their ass way in. It looks like they about to get their, you know, about to lose a war. We might want to go in like we're gonna be with y'all. We're gonna be down with y'all. You know, I just want to keep, you know, how my faith, my religion is. I just don't want that change. Let it stay as it is, man. You do you, I'm do me. You know, you know. James Cass said, man, the U.S. ain't no better than Nazi Germany in the 1930s. Go ask brother Jesse Owens, multi-gold Olympian. Rest in peace. Real talk. Yeah. And, you know, if you go back and look at that footage, initially, the guy Hitler, he stood up and kind of gave him recognition. It wasn't until after Jesse Owens smoked their ass that he started ignoring him, you know, disregarding him. You know, he was upset, you know, but he knew. It became quite evident to him at that stage because he'd already knew, I think, to some extent, that we were a superior race. You know, it just, you know, it's brought to him, man, in real time. You know what I mean? So I can't understand his anger. I can't sympathize or empathize with that. It ain't never happened to me. But he knew from that point on, man, these are the real ones, you know. And he hated us ever since, you know, all the way up to his supposed demise, you know. Yeah, man. That's what it do, man. We up in this thing, y'all. How would this war affect us? I mean, isn't it already bad enough for us? Well, at the pump, man, in terms of our paychecks, our purse strings, our wallets, you know, isn't it, you know, to some extent, you know, we find times where it's hard to make ends meet. You know what I mean? We may go through some, or those we love go through some, and, you know, hey, we want to make sure we support them and help them out, man. And, you know, aren't things bad enough? You know, aren't they bad enough? Rakufu said, I was surprised to see a USS warship named after a black man, Robert Smalls. Yeah, man, they got one a battle cruiser or something. I forget what they call it. Yeah, it ain't no big old huge ship though. I mean, but you know, nonetheless. Who was Robert Smalls, by the way, Rakufu? What does he do? What did he do, and why is he recognized? Or why did they recognize him enough to name a naval battleship after him? You know, I'd like to know that. And if you know that, can you drop that in there, bro? Appreciate it. You're going to say NSNS Medgar Evers, named after the civil rights leader Medgar Evers. And the USNS, is that like a medical? Is that like a hospital? I'm going to look at that one. Hold on. So, what kind of ship is a USNS, the Medgar Evers? Okay. Okay, the USNS, I keep saying NS. The USNS Medgar Evers is a T AKE 13, is a Lewis and Clark class dry cargo ammunition ship operated by the U.S. Navy's Military Sea Lift Command, MSC, as a combat logistics force vessel. Its primary role is to deliver ammunition, food, repair parts, and fuel to U.S. and allied ships at sea. Thank you for that, Rakufu. History lesson, man, in the making. Appreciate you for that one, bro. You're going to say it is true. We have come a long way, but we still have a longer road to travel. The Midtown Pool Key. You say facts. Appreciate you up in here, man. Listen, y'all. Like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to Under the Groove Podcast, man. And this is Touching Bases with the People, man. We're talking about tonight, man, how this war that's taking place in the Middle East will affect the Black population in these United States. What do we think will be not the end result, but what will be the effect on the Black population here, man, if this war continues to go on, or if it escalates and expands into World War III? How will this affect us? And I put up there, well, for one, we'll see the effects of this, or we'll feel it. We'll feel the effects of it at the gas pump. Any more suggestions, ideas, opinions in terms of what we're going to go through as a result of this war we didn't start, that I suggest to the brothers and sisters that they do not participate in, man. If you ain't already there, don't go. Don't go. And if I don't know, let me be careful, man, because shoot. But yeah, man, that is, man. Appreciate you up in this Get Out Midtown. All right, man. Rakufu say the slave war or the civil war should be renamed the slave revolt. Man, Trump would die if somebody even considered that in front of him. If they pass a bill or a proposition with that on it, he'll kill over, man. All that he's doing right now to get rid of everything our people didn't establish, especially in terms of civil rights or slavery, you know what I mean? Man, he would kill over, man. All right, Devin Butcher, what it do, loved one? All right, peace right back to you, brother. And Rakufu said Robert Smalls from 1839 to 1915 was an enslaved African-American man who became a Civil War hero, U.S. congressman, and major political leader during Reconstruction. It's, I think, would be astonishing to a lot of our brothers and sisters. It is, or it would be, to know that our brothers and sisters, even before slavery, were a part of the Congress in these United States, the Continental Congress, and in fact were a part of the political machine or organization, man, before the United States was actually formed. The George Washington aspect of it. Yeah, real spit, man. Queen jumping in there. Queen and Zinga say here are a few named after blacks. The USS Harmon, first in 1943. The USS Doris Miller aircraft carrier. USS Robert Smalls, USS Gravely, USS Pinckney, USS Jesse L. Brown, and USS Rodney M. Davis. These are all military vessel ships, part of the U.S. Navy. Are all of them still in commission? How many are in commission? How many are not? How many been sent to pasture? How many are still on the water? I'd like to know that, man. I'd like to know that. But listen, this war is going to happen. Well, it's happening, but it's gonna evolve. I tend to think that China, before Russia, is going to get involved, and that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Again, already we hear that Great Britain has involved itself in France. Excuse me, y'all. It's on its way with Navy vessels, ships. The France Navy is on its way to the Middle East. For what reason, like I say, I don't know. But hey, I want to say more power to Iran, man. Get it done. Watch your 6, man. Watch your 12, watch your 3, watch your 6, watch your 9. Watch all of them. Watch all of them. But if France gets involved, then for sure, NATO, because France is a part of NATO, as well as the UK and Germany, both of which you also said they support what's happening in Iran, NATO will become involved. They will be involved in this situation. And I'm telling you, man, that I think will be the catalyst to bring not just China, but Russia also in. It will bring Turkey in. I think Turkey. But then again, Erdogan, man, is kind of like a wuss. Do a lot of talking. I don't necessarily think that, he would commit Turkey to getting involved in that war, especially against the United States and Israel. I think he's scared of both. He's a wuss. But you have, one thing is for sure, man, those Middle East countries that Iran is taking off on, he's only taking off on them because they allow American assets or bases, in their countries, and these bases are being used to stage war against Iran. So Iran had already told all them, hey, man, something gonna happen. We attacking these bases. And then if anybody got anything to say about it, we're going to get you too. You know what I mean? And, hey, they're living up to, what do they call it? The something promised for. I wrote it down somewhere, shit. Something promised for. They're keeping that promise. And so, my hat is off to them, man, for holding their own. All right. But these countries that are being bombed by Iran, right? Again, what's really being bombed, what's mainly the target of Iran are the American bases and military assets there, from what I heard too. Now they're bombing American embassies. And I think rightfully so, because that's where the CIA are right now, trying to figure out stuff, certain higher ups and military personnel, So, hey, man, have at it. But the people in these countries, in these Arab countries in the Middle East, whose governments are, basically saying, man, to hell with Iran, they are in support of Iran. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I noticed, though, how Western media, or how media, period, portray what's going on. What I noticed for like the first 2 days when it was found out that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was, taken out, that they showed the jubilee or jubilation of certain people in the streets, but they neglected to show the world the millions of people that then came out in the streets, that's out in the streets, man, in support of the Ayatollah, his passing. He was their supreme leader, spiritual supreme leader, man. And not just there in Iran, but all over the world where Muslims followed him, or he was, again, their superior, their spiritual leader, Even Pakistan and Afghanistan, though they are in conflict right now, and it seems to die down so that they could pay attention to what's, going on in Iran, So, hey, this thing is going to be way more than what I think, what the United States government and the Zionist state of Israel thought it would be. You got people in the streets, man, are pissed off. I saw one feed where they say, man, the people in the streets got their guns and they ain't trying to use them against the, the Republican Guard. They're saying basically, we dare y'all to put boots on the ground. I would love to see if they're that stupid, though. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm just not gonna lie, man. I would be okay to see, shit go down. I would be actually pleased. But hey, man, they stepped into a pile of dookie, man. But because of their mistake and their error, man, we are gonna suffer because black people again have always got the shit end of the stick when it came to this country and war. You know, we've always gotten that like that, man, and that's sad, man, in and of itself. It's sad because we haven't, since all these wars have transpired and are in the past, gotten it together or gotten to the point where we recognize that they see us only as fodder, that they still don't respect us, you know? We're still not considered first class citizens, you know what I mean? That's what's really sad. That's what's really sad, man. But if things do change, man, I'm of the mind that we'll find some way, man, to make it through. Like I say, man, we always make the best of a bad situation. It's just that we there are a lot of us, man, who won't be able to do that. That's what I think about. That's what I think about, man. I think about the elderly. You know what I mean? Or those who aren't as fortunate financially, anything else, man. Um, being able to sustain, survive or continue to exist if things get really bad. That's what I think about, man. So, like I said, when the question is posed, how will we suffer as a result, or how will we be affected as a result of this war, man? I'm speaking of that, man. I'd like to know what the opinion is, man, in terms of what brothers really think will become of us, or what will transpire as a result of this war in terms of us. How will we be affected? Yeah. All right, what we got here, man? Okay, I read that one. Man, y'all done went all in, all kind of ships, huh? Mm. I like this one. Rakufu said, man, Ariel refueling tanker named after jazz legend Louis Armstrong highlights cultural contributions rather than military aviation history. Right. Hmm. Rakufu said the KC-135R, the straddle tanker, all right, the spirit of the Tuskegee Airmen. M60 said, man, Robert Smalls took a Confederate ship, sailed it to Union waters, freeing himself, his family, and passengers. This convinced Lincoln that blacks were brave enough to fight. Hmm. And again, man, y'all, shit, they needed us. Lincoln needed, he said it, he wrote it down. He not only said, admitted that he needed us, but shit, if he didn't need us, we would still be, he wouldn't have freed us, or so-called, you know, he wouldn't have done none of that, man. If he had a choice in it that wouldn't have affect the North or the South one way or the other, no telling where we be right now. Would we still be under that, peculiar institution? No telling. No telling. So I'm to the point now when I even hear his name, we're like, man, fuck him. I don't know. Just it almost seemed like a knee-jerk reaction. Anytime I hear Abraham Lincoln, fuck him. I don't know. Excuse my language, everybody. Oh no, it's all right, B60M, man. No excuses necessary, brother. All right. None necessary. Rakufu said, however, many aircraft carry temporary nose art tributes to individuals like Jackie Robinson, used symbolically. Benjamin O. Davis Jr., Daniel Chappie James Jr., first black four-star general. I'm familiar with him, as a matter of fact. Yeah, man. I just think it's just some token shit. You know what I mean? I don't think it really means anything to them. I'm pretty sure that a lot of them would be like, oh man, that happened, so let's move on. You know what I mean? They wouldn't. I don't know, man, if there would be any real deep conversations about these brothers, man, and their contributions, man, coming from them people, coming from them people. Yeah, man. You know what's sad about all this? We talking about military hardware, ships, tanks, planes, and all that. And we ain't got a one. Our people don't own one tank, one ship, one plane. You know, after everything that we've done for them militarily, you would think they give us an army of our own, right? Think about that. You would think that. I would think that, but then I would know better. You know, I know that they would be like, hell no, we're not giving them nothing we can't oversee. If you get them an army if you want to. We'll be in the poorhouse or in the slave cabin. You know. Yeah, that's what I think about that, man. Rakufu said, man, I get your reasons for doubting the sincerity. I doubt it too. Just showing what our contribution and capabilities are for sure, bro. Yeah, that I don't think that what you share with us, as well as Queen Nzinga, Ray Sent, Lisa Moore, anybody else who dropped something in there about our brothers and sisters' contribution, I don't think any of that is something to sneeze at, man. You know, it is nothing to minimize. I think those are great feats, especially under the circumstances, especially under the conditions that they were under to still shine, you know, and stand tall through it all. Ain't nothing wrong with, you know, what we're talking about right here, bro. You know, and I'm reading it because it's more than welcome. You know what I mean? All good, bro. Trust that. And here go one. I seen the word Black Panther just jumped out at me. Rakufu says, man, yes, the infamous World War II unit, the 671st Tank Battalion, Black Panthers. First Black Armored Battalion to see combat, fought under General Patton in Europe, earned a presidential unit citation. There you go. All right, Antonio, we see you, man. Quinn and Zinga said, of course, they need us. We are how they eat. We have the spending power, labor, culture, and entrepreneurship. We contribute billions of dollars every year to this system, to this economic system, especially. But yeah, thank you for that. That's a fact. Again, uh, it seems as though, man, our only reason for being is to serve them in some form or fashion. And damn, how we are served, you know, how we are served does not matter. You know, it doesn't matter, man. Which I think, again, is such a shame. That's a shame. Excuse me. So yeah, man. We got this situation though. Again, man, I kind of in terms of this war, I kind of was cheering for, you know, for them over there. But then I got to thinking about, hey man, if this shit gets out of hand, or you know, our people gonna be in a hell of trouble, man, a whole lot of trouble. You know, either fighting for these people or, you know, just trying to survive as a result of this war. You know, just making everything or making the prices go up. So I kind of chilled. I kicked back and thought about it. I got just a little more pensive about this stuff, man. Again, we got to do a whole lot, man. We gonna have to do a whole lot. Hey, man, I see you, Antonio. Thanks for hanging out, bro. And you know what? In light of, in respect to what you just said, Antonio, I know that most of you guys, man, y'all hang out for a little while. I appreciate that, you know. And because that's so, and I check out the analytics now. And I used to didn't do that shit, right? I used to didn't give a damn about that. But you know, lately I've been in the analytics and checking it out, man. And so I just want to say, man, amen. Thank you to all you brothers and sisters that hang out, man, for as long as you do. For as long as you do. Because like I said in the past, man, I'm pretty sure there are a whole lot of other things people can be doing with their time rather than, you know, listening to me, you know, rant and rave. You know what I mean? So again, man, you all are appreciated, man. More than you know. More than you know. Rakufu said, man, just imagine if we could get a general to enforce security and protection for a few all-black cities like Black Wall Street, generational wealth could be attained. Yeah, that's something I think, you know what, but see, here's the problem with that. And since we're talking about warfare, that's what it would come to. That brother or sister, name or designated a general for whatever community, man, would have more problems with the people than they would with the police or the government saying you can't be a general without us sanctioning you. You know what I mean? We'd have there'd be problems up the wazoo, man. It'd be, man, it'd be all bad because that general would have to be orchestrating combat or skirmishes, having skirmishes and light fights against our own people, man, just because we want shit to be better. We got those, man, that don't. That's the problem. I don't know how to call that one, man. But yeah, if we had something like the Panthers had back in the day, the military arm, so-called arm of that get down, man, in the communities, in all the communities, man. Yeah, we'd be all right. We'd be all right. We do more than establish generational wealth, I think. We'd be in such a position where, man, even if they did something stupid to another country outside of the United States, they wouldn't dare come and ask us to do nothing for them. That's how I see that, man. Let's hope, man, that these people don't do nothing stupid. And one more thing I had to say about that, man. But again, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it'll be a real problem, man. It'll be a real problem, man. If this was my thought. I thought to myself that if Iran had its own weapon, its own nuke, then it would be a level playing field. It would be an equalizer. You know what I mean? And in that way, man, we wouldn't have, or we would not see the Zionist state of Israel running roughshod or trying to run roughshod over the whole Middle East. It's especially the Palestinian people. That just one would be such a deterrent, man. Again, an equalizer that they would think twice. I always notice how they're always so adamant about them Iran not having a nuke. And they say, "Oh, we don't trust them." Who are you? Or if they had one, they would use it. Like, hey, man, you don't really, understand these people like you think you do. Actually, they're against it. They quote the Quran about it. But I think I see the mentality behind it, the mindset in terms of just saying, okay, we may not have one, but we can produce one. We have weapons grade uranium. We could, we want, boom. That would be enough. That would be enough, man, to deter any country outside of Iran from messing around, from FAFOing. You know what I mean? FA and FOing. A lot of those Arab states probably wouldn't be going through a lot of what they're going through. Again, especially the Palestinians. That would be such a deterrent. It would be such an equalizer, man. You'd have so much more diplomacy. You would. And for real, man, who in their right mind want to trigger a situation like that where everybody's going to lose? I think that, the Zionist state of Israel uses theirs as a bully tactic, a threat, and I think that they realized that if Iran had one, they couldn't do that no more. The Middle East would actually calm down. They'd be in check. Same would go for the USA. I always thought that them denying them one is just for the sole purpose of them being put in their place, being checked. That's all. they're quite sure that them people are not going to use it. And again, if they had one, no one would be stupid enough to trigger that type of war, not that type of war. You know what I mean? Come on. You know. Yeah, man, a lot would be different if that playing field was level. And I always said, then why wouldn't Russia or China or North Korea give them one? Why wouldn't Pakistan just say, here, man, here's one? You know, here's one. You know, I just wonder about that type of stuff, man. Okay, this thing. Oh, I lost my mind. Rokufu said, first movie, The Spook Set by the Door. That was a good movie. You know, better book, but a good movie. And I love how they initiated to Get Down, you know, and, you know, how they went to war on their terms, man. And they had things lined up, man. That was structure. In the book, it was some good structure, man. But imagine that, right? Imagine us in that position, you know? And we say, okay, we're taking over now. You know what I mean? Shit. I'll be smiling, man, every day from ear to ear. Every day. Real shit. Kufu going to say, man, what about the book Man Child in the Promised Land? You ever read that? One of the first books I read, bro. That book messed me. I tell my wife about when I first read that book. And I say this often enough, but my mom used to, as a punishment, after ass whooping, I'd have to read a book. And I had read that book in a certain amount of days, you know. But that was one of the first books I was made to read. And I had the option of picking the book. You know, my mom's had all these books, man. And I just had I picked it because I thought it was the smallest. It was a little paperback. You remember about so thick. It wasn't a whole lot, you know, and compared to all the other books she had, it was the smallest book, right? But it ended up for me being the most profound, one of the most profound books I ever read. You know, that book sticks with me to this day. You know, Man Child in the Promised Land. Whole lot of man childs out here, right? We got a whole lot of them, man. I was tripping on how they would cook their bologna. They had no cooking grease, no Crisco, no canola oil, none of that. They were using Vaseline to cook bologna, right? And I was like, what the hell? You know, wasn't no big thing, man. You know, shit, they were getting it done. Yeah, one of my very first books, man, was Man Child in the Promised Land. Yeah, love that book too. Like I say, to this day, I remember that book, man. All right, Charles Johnson, how you do, bro? You say, Charles Johnson 9723 says, bro, I live in Sacramento and the prices on everything shot up overnight. It's already started. You know, some of us, we got a budget, man. You know, we get our checks, man. You know what I'm saying? We make our money, and we know for the most part, especially those of us who pay the bills. You know, we know what's in our budget. You know what I mean? Like, I don't always go and fill my truck up. Ain't no way in the world. I'm just not going to do that. You know what I mean? I budget how much I put in my truck, straight up. And I do that according to the miles. I don't give a fuck about how many gallons of gas in that thing. I know when, okay, boom, I'm at that mark. You know what I mean? And that's just my way of budgeting what I put in terms of gas in that truck. But man, we got budgets. So when we go to an AM, PM supermarket, whatever, we know what we're spending. To go in a store, to go to purchase something, and you know that this is what it was, you go in and it ain't what it is anymore. Hey, man, that's disturbing. You know? And just imagine for those who that might be all they got. You know? Now I'm in a dilemma. I have this dilemma, man. What do I do? Do I eat, pay my bill, get my gas, pay rent? What do I do? You know, overnight, I was checking something out last night, man. This is some real shit. It kind of got to me, man, just to hear this lady say it. 65-year-old lady, man, blind, lived by herself. Got to talking about, man, how things are, they're bad, you know. And this was just last night when I caught this. She talked about what her food stamps, her SNAP card used to be, in terms of what Biden gave them, and then what it is now as a result of Trump. She started out telling the story that she had lost 28 pounds in a year. You know, initially I thought, well, that ain't bad. You know, I'm thinking, you know, I hadn't got the other information just yet that she was 65 and she was blind. I'm thinking that ain't bad, 28 pounds. You must be trying to lose a little weight, you know. Then she told about, or she spoke about how she's blind, lives by herself, you know, in 65 years of age. I said, oh shit. So she got to explaining how she lost the 28 pounds. You know, she said, hey, man, I had to stop eating. There were some times I couldn't eat. Whereas when she used to get $80 on her SNAP card, when Biden had set that thing up and everything, Trump come in and he cuts it down to 45. She said no time after that, not long after that, all she was getting was $12 a month. Broke my heart. You know? Like, damn. So that explains how she's been losing weight, or why she's losing weight, you know. The lady can't afford to eat. And bro, up in Saxon, hey man, the prices already, it didn't already started. You know, he up in Sac. And that's what it is. The price on everything up in Sac and already went up. You know, what is this gonna do to us? You know, we gotta, for real, we need to be thinking about that type of stuff, man. Because we are going to be affected by this whole situation, man. Hey, man, check it out, Charles Johnson. Appreciate that, man. Hey, as you know, as you should, I think you know, man, this is Under the Groove Podcast, man. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this podcast if you see fit, bro. We appreciate your presence, man. We appreciate you dropping that up in here for us, man. All right. So enjoy the rest of this. Get down, man, and peace and blessings to you and yours. All right. You're already started, y'all. That's in Sac. All right. Everything that went up. Shoot. Man, don't even get me started. Okay, Rakufu, you saying something, my message is not getting to you. I said, let's start a movie night on Zoom panel, share screen, mute up, and have a discourse, I'm sure, every 30 minutes on Saturday or Sunday or Monday. First movie. The spook that sat by the door. Queen and Zinga say, yay. Yeah, they're about to break. Let me see. Yeah, they are about to break us in these grocery stores, man. We better go get the samples we need. Yeah. Get that water, y'all. Get them rice, them beans, man. Get them canned goods, actually, also. You know, check the expiration date on, because, you know, not necessarily it always matters, but it do. But, man, get them staples, man. Get them potatoes, man, you know. Get them that rice and them beans. Get ready. The fix is in. The rich are about to get richer. We're about to get poor. But anyway, I hear you though right there, Rakufu, a movie night, huh? Yeah, we gotta get, let's see how many people want to get involved in that, man. I'll do it. We could do it. We could do that. And like I said, the thing is set up to where, you know, boom, shit, man. We can get up to 100 people on this fizzle. Watch this movie together every 30 minutes, boom, have a discussion, going back to the movie. however we decide we want to set it up. I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, let's see how that work out, man. Let's start discussing that so we can see whether or not we're gonna really do it. Likely, man, me and you probably be the only one doing it. And if I'm wrong in there, everybody let me know. Anyway, Queen Nzinga said, yeah, gas has gone up about 25 cents over here in my neck of the woods. In some places, it's over $5. Yeah, we in for it, y'all. Charles Johnson says, yes, sir. Much love, bro. Much love and respect to you and yours. Right back to you, Charles. Again, man, we appreciate you up in here. I don't know if you know, we do this every Monday through Friday. All right, bro? And I'm saying that to say, hopefully, we'll see you back up in here. Not hopefully, but may we see you back up in here, man, come Wednesday and Thursday, Friday night. All right? This is Touching Bases with the People. This is also Under the Groove Podcast, man. Again, thank you for showing up, bro. All respect. Sack is in the house. Yeah, man. The movie thing, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. You know what I mean, Rakufu? Not just what day we do it on, but what time. Also, let's keep in mind the length of the movie. You know what I mean? We want to just be considerate of those who, might want to participate. But, it all depends on people's schedule. I'm all in because, I'll be running the thing. I don't get, I'm here. Shit. We could do this Monday through Friday, man, Saturday or Sunday. Sundays probably won't be a good time for me because I'm in the studio on Sundays. All right. But to get that thing up and running, man, put a lot of fire up in there, man. Matter of fact, y'all, I did something tonight on Under the Groove, man. Just a regular part of Under the Groove, man. I call it the Communication Empowerment Call. Go check that one out, man. Let me know what you think about that, man. Get out a few likes, shares, and comments as well, all right? But I dropped that earlier today, man, and it addresses what's happening in these communities, man, and how social media is a big part of this problem we're faced with, man, especially our youth, So, yeah, go check that out, man. But Sundays, I'm in the studio, bro. I'm in the studio. Saturdays, it's probably the best time to catch me, but what time Saturday? You know what I mean? And again, we got to keep in mind, some people might want to party early morning Saturday. Might not want to be able to get, or may not be able to get up at 10, 11, 12, however we decide to run that. A weekday is probably better. But do we take one of our, touching bases with the people days and then still incorporate that in there or what? We have to really think about this. Again, I'm down though. I'm down. Hey man, I need your number, bro. You got the email address, Rakufu? If not, let me know. But anyway, Charles said, man, suggest a good movie. I'm in on it. And that's something we do also, man. Rakufu be hitting us with the movies. He got a more of a hit than a miss record with me. He did suggest a movie to me the other day. I ain't like that damn piece of movie. That movie was a piece of shit, but it was okay. I got one. Well, I've been speaking highly of this movie, for the last couple of days. 2073. Go check that one out, Charles. See, tell me what you think about that. And I think that movie, and reason why I think I allowed it as much as I do, or put it out there as much as I do, because I think it is relative. It's relevant in terms of what we're seeing today. That movie, man, it did the times justice. The times that we're living in and those times that we are headed into, it did it justice. So that's just one suggestion. Rakufu, I'm pretty sure, give you another. Where James at, man? And I don't see C1 tonight, man. I hope she's all right also. But anyway, yeah, man. That's when I could drop in your lap, bro. 2073. Already, Rakufu, you see James Johnson want to get in on that. Rakufu said, man, when I'm ripe, I'm green. When you eat me, I'm red. A watermelon, brother. And when you spit me out, I'm black. What am I? Watermelon. That's the red, black, and green. I think I told you I don't even eat watermelon, right? My family be tripping off that, like, man, you don't eat no watermelon. I don't eat watermelon, man. Never have. I think I tasted it way back when I was a kid, and I didn't like it. And I mean, a kid like maybe 6 years old. And I have not eaten any watermelon. I love honeydew, and I love cantaloupe, but I would not eat watermelon. But yeah, your riddle is a watermelon, my bro. The red, the black, and the green. Soldier Janice, all right. She said, man, I have started ordering seeds. Good idea. Great idea, actually. My baby Lysique got me inspired. Visiting her home is like walking into a botanical garden. Yeah. Me and the wife, we talk about them seeds all the time, and the natural ones. We don't want the GMO ones, right? And I heard that you got to be very careful when ordering the seeds, because actually I was told the real seeds, the ones that haven't been tampered with, modified or whatever, they cost a lot. There's this big bag of them, with some of everything in it. So yeah, we talked about that, and I think that's a good suggestion for us. Soldier Needs, appreciate you dropping that. The seeds, and we talk about it all the time. We just ain't got them yet, man. I got all kind of other seeds around here. Wink, wink, but we need to get those right there. Prometheus is the shit, Rakufu. I give you that. And I already told you I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Prometheus and all the other ones that follow. All right. Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate that advice, Soldier Denise. That's a good look. That's good. That is a gem that the brothers and sisters need to pick up. Grab them seeds, y'all. So we're talking about these supermarkets and the prices and everything else, man. You can grab some seeds, get you about 5 or 6 pots, or get you some of them little long. They got the cloth ones now, right? They got the shit, man. You can hang them up and they'll grow. But start growing your own fruits, your own vegetables, your own vegetables, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it, But again, get those right seeds. Get them good seeds. Don't get that BS. Don't get that BS. Soldier Denise says, you're absolutely right. Do your research before you purchase, because they will try to pass off some GMO seeds, some modified seeds to you. They will try to do that. But them seeds, I'm pretty sure, come in handy. Man. Ain't nothing wrong with having some seeds around the house. And again, man, especially whether you have a house with a yard or not, you could be in an apartment with a balcony, man, or a window. You can start growing some fruits or vegetables for sure. That would be a good thing for us to start doing again. I remember growing up, that's what we did, Damn near every yard had a garden. Every yard damn near had a garden. And another thing I forgot to mention about that back in the day, there were a lot of rabbits. There were a lot of rabbits, man. All in your garden and shit. We end up catching a few, matter of fact. But I remember growing up, man, and our people, black people, were growing their own vegetables, man. A lot of yards had fruit trees and stuff, So we grew up eating fruits, again, maybe we, shit, we ain't had nothing to eat. You go raid a tree. That's how I learned to start. That's how I end up liking grapefruits. Rest of my brothers couldn't stand grapefruits. Love grapefruits though. This very day. Yeah, man. We got to get it together. All right, I see you, James. I'm here, brother. Just caught up with some things and that. All right, bro. Hopefully all is well. I'm pretty sure. There you go, man. Good to see you still here, man. Raku's talking about lamb meat is lean and healthy. Well, I ain't got to worry about that. I don't eat meat, so that's on you, brothers. I've heard about the ostrich though. I've never had it, but I've heard about it. I like ostrich. I like ostrich too. There's a store called Wild Fork. Google it. What they serve? Well, ostrich burgers, ostrich steak. What, you know? When do they have ribs and shit? James said, man, I was mentioning earlier how the black soldiers in World War II never got the medals of honor. Uh, only until 1997, and it was just 7 brothers that were given that honors. Ain't that no justice? That's a shame. That's a shame. I remember when Obama was president and they're pinning these medals on these dudes. These dudes are super old, and then they say, oh, this guy was in World War II. And, you know, then I'm thinking, man, why y'all wait this long to get this dude a medal? You know, he ain't gonna have a whole lot of time to enjoy that, you know? Or Vietnam, you know what I mean? Like, God dang. Old brothers, man. James said, what's the point of our people fighting their war if we are fighting one in our own backyard against them same people? And that was my take on it, man. That's why I was saying, man, again, let's just be mindful, you know, in terms of putting in an atmosphere that this shit does not escalate to the point where it's actually all out World War III, you know. Let's do that, man, for the sake of our people, man, our brothers and sisters who will get drugged into that shit, man. And again, they'll be some of the first, you know, get caught up, man. So, you know, don't want to see nothing happen to them, man. Tell the truth, man. You know, sad as hell, man, but it is what it is, man. This is what this country does. And I'm telling you, most wars, with this war especially, is to hide something else. It's to distract us from some shit that's going on with him more than it is the Iranians, all right? So that's the cold part about it. That's the cold part about it. James going to say 1 million brothers on the front line, blood shed for nothing, only for the surviving brothers to come home to America and be treated the same way they were before they went in, man, or help them bastards win a war. Cold shit, man. Cold. Hey, man, we got a lot to do. We got a lot to do, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all, man, don't wait for nobody or for anyone to bring the mess to you. We need to be prepared, man, for whatever. For whatever. It's just wise to be prepared, you know. Again, man, these store prices are gonna go up. Gas is going to go up. That's a fact. Bills, insurance, mortgages, maybe even rent, maybe. But for the most part, most everything we pay a bill on or we pay a fee to or whatever is going to go up. Take this time, man. Use the money you got, man. Get that water, man. Stack that water up, man. Just have it. It ain't no wrong with having, you know, cases of water. Try to have 10 cases. You know, like Soldier Denise said, man, go get them seeds, you know. But at the same time, as Queen Nzinga said, get to these stores, man, and go buy the shit y'all need to buy before them prices go up. Get them rice, get that rice, them beans, you know, some of them canned goods, man, them potatoes. Hey, man, you never know. You never know. But one thing for sure, we don't know what the hell going on, right? Ain't none of us really the wiser. We don't know why this idiot done this shit. But guesses are, the guess is he's trying to distract our attention from the Epstein files, you know. That may be the truth. You know, as far as we know, that may be the truth. All right. All right, Rakufu, man. Peace and blessings, bro. All right, Rakufu is signing out, man. He said, talk to you on the next UTG, bub. Good night to all. And we're going to follow suit, man, with Rakufu. Our peace and blessings extended to everybody, man. For those of you who came in tonight, hey, Charles Johnson, appreciate you showing up, man. All our brothers and sisters in the RGC, man. Hey, Soldier Janice, good to see you up in here again tonight. Hey, y'all know the deal, man. Take care of yourselves, man, so that you be able to take care of others, all right? You got to love yourself before you can say you love me or anybody else, man. You know, that's really how that works, all right? Keep that in mind, all right? And again, keep in the atmosphere, man, that we remain safe. that we remain safe, man, and blessed. All right. So on that note, you are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Power is in the people, y'all. Don't let nobody tell y'all different, man. Power is in the people. One love. Be one. Be one.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurston writing future history. From the Apollo to the Borough to the Sphere. Where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transform suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. It's in the sergeant, this is once a less than. Actors, actors, and reciters, please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive, watch you, the applause for polls. Need your data, tropes, and constant any problem when the wet just wanna build the season. Bait, now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times, plead them up, it's off the main. Make it honor fans, turn and neck and love the dirt, suffer, like a kesha. You went from the preaching up, I'm sorry, see Chilun, but on the shit and untrue seeing vets, someone that buried it's on Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the Bonavir. If wait something for the marker, make the key to pull the trumpets on the boards to the singer land is carried open, slowly keep us looking on my mother, break your channel, resi more than he, and let the best be is every time we keep a spawn.